everybody. It's time for Life Chats with Maggie and Bunny. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Bunny.
Well. How is everyone today?
Well,
Today
I'm
we're
good.
going to talk. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic this time of the month. Oh, not that time of the month. A different time of the month. We're going to talk about Mother's Day. We're going to talk about mothers. We're going to talk about grandmothers. We're going to talk about, are you a mother? Are you not a mother? Do you have a mother, or do you have an adoptive mother? Do you have a surrogate mother?
Yeah.
There are so many different kinds of mothers. So that's what we're going to talk about today on this edition of Life Chats with Maggie and Bunny. So, Bunny, what about you? I know you're a mother, but
Yep.
I know you have a mother.
I do have a mother. I know lots of mothers.
Yep.
Sometimes I even have, like, in my life, I've even taken on like other people's moms as my mom too. Like, kind of like extra moms, bonus moms, mother-in-law, that too. So
yeah. And I want to point out today that I'm having some yard work done. And because I'm a dog mother,
yeah.
my dog's very upset about this. So you're going to hear him barking possibly in this podcast because he's very upset that I've allowed strangers on his premises.
Yes. About horrible. But he's our mascot, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Connor.
Okay. Mr. Connor's here, whatever he wants to be anyway. So yeah, mothers, there's so much. I remember as a mom myself and going through a period of difficulty with my daughter, I was always thankful that even when we were not connected and close, she had surrogate mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always so thankful for that if she wasn't in a place that she was coming to me, she had other people in her life that were surrogate mothers. And I remember when she got married, two of those surrogate mothers were at her wedding. Mm-hmm. And I went to both of them and thanked them for the role that they played in my child's life. That even though I was her birth mother, we weren't always in the place where she wanted me to mother her. And sometimes even now, she doesn't want me to mother her. We have a very different relationship, and we're constantly working on finding that balance of, do you want to be mothered or do you not want to be mothered? But yeah, I'm always thankful for those times in her life that she was mothered by somebody else because she wasn't in a place to receive it from me. And there's lots of people out there that have that experience. And it's oftentimes something that we don't talk about.
Right.
But it's a valuable type of mothering.
Well, and I was even thinking about that too. It's like, because like some of the things, I don't know, it's some of those things that there's times where the mother-child relationship with knowing it from both ways. So, knowing having a mom and then also being a mom. I do know the frustration or whatever of like that moment where your kids no longer think that you hung the stars of the moon, where like it's almost like you don't know what you're talking about anymore, and they start to like separate and choose to like find other things and other ways, and they believe someone else above you.
And that's hard, when you've been the person who hung the stars and the moon, you've been that person.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're pretty low on the totem pole. You're pretty low down. That's hard as a mom. It's hard to know how to handle that. Yeah. It's hard to navigate that. Yeah. And it's kind of the same as what you've been going through this year of when your child goes away to university.
Yeah.
It's hard to navigate parenting in that. Oh. And there's so many times that as a mom, we have to navigate new circumstances that we've never been before. Mm-hmm. Pretty much from the way we become mothers. Nobody is taught how to be a mother.
Yeah.
You navigate it from the time they put this little helpless creature into your hands and say, here, this is yours, take it home.
Well, I don't know about you. And I'm going to bring it up. I know I asked you to pull it up, but we did write for the people who can see our videos. So on Facebook and Spotify video and YouTube, is that we did our first collaborative book was Mom's Love, Wisdom and Tales About Mothers. And we did that one in February of 2022. And so it's just over 2 years old, and you can find it on Amazon. And I'll put
It
links
was
in
our
it.
baby book.
It was our baby book, and we chose to do moms because you know, as we said, like we're moms and we have moms, and there was there's experiences and stuff, but we also knew that, we had different experiences with our mothers. So we had different experience. I still have my mom, thankfully, and I get to kind of still process through, the relationship that I have with that. And then we also had, a little bit of different experiences with our children too, and with being moms. So there was also that stuff too, and navigating and coming through, what we take from our mom as moms. Like, what is it that we were like, yes, in this way our mom did great, we're going to use that, and then in this, maybe my mom didn't do so great with that. There's also this other thing that just like popped in, is like, when Freud and all the other like quote unquote therapists, counselors, whatever, and it's always like, well, it's your relationship with your mom, and like, or it's your mom's fault, like those jokingly like sort of tongue in cheek things that people say. But in a way, that sort of is what happens when you're a mom. Your kids, no matter what you've done, however, whatever you've done, and we all do the best that we can, regardless of what that looks like. We always do the best that we can. There very often is a time where our kids come back and they're like, well, you did, they don't say, well, you did all this stuff. They're like, well, you didn't do this, or you didn't do this, or the way that you did this is like, and then it's like, well, darn, like I did do my best. And so the biggest lessons I think I've learned have been through my relationship with my kids. Those are
Yeah.
the biggest things that have
And
happened.
I think for me, I'm learning the most now from my adult children.
Mm-hmm.
I am learning the most from them as adults,
Mm-hmm.
than I did when they were little. When they were little, I was trying to survive parenthood. I was
Yes.
trying to function. I was trying to get it right. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to grow them up into decent human beings and all of that kind of stuff, and had
Yeah.
all that pressure.
Yeah.
Now that that pressure is gone, I find now is the time that I can truly learn from them.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And I no longer hold on to the woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Yeah.
and we have conversations all the time about I did the best I could with what I had. Did I
Right.
do it all correct? Absolutely not.
Right.
And neither will you.
Right. Right. 100.
Because
100%.
there is no book that tells you how to do it all.
Yeah.
It's called the book of life. You're
Yeah.
learning as you go, and you don't know what challenges you're going to have before you
Mm-hmm.
have them. And I mean, one of the biggest things for me was the disappointment of not having the relationship with my daughter that I had with my mother,
Right.
and being able to be thankful for the relationship that I do have,
Right.
instead of worrying about the one I don't have. And
Right.
I talk about that a lot when I talk about that in every circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
in every relationship. We have to be thankful for what we do have instead of worrying about what we don't have.
Right.
I could as well look at my husband and say, well, you're not this, and you're
Yeah.
not this, and you're not this, which I did do,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't work very well.
Right.
But when I was able to change it and look and be grateful for who he was, and even now with my children, when I am able to be thankful and grateful for the relationship that we do have, instead of grieving what we don't have,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it makes life so much better,
Yeah.
because it takes that weight off of me,
For sure. For sure. And
because the truth is, I don't think anybody out there has the Leave It to Beaver, Cleaver family,
right.
happily ever after, like you see in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has that.
I mean, I'm sure that there are people who get pretty close. And but for the most, like, because there's always outliers, right? So while there's people who have extremely dysfunctional relationships with their mothers, like can tell you horror stories and all that stuff, there will also be the other end where there's going to be ones that like their moms did no wrong and they were the perfect, like, as best as they
Yeah.
could or whatever. But most, I think, like most things, probably like 60 to 80% for sure are going to have very similar in the middle experiences.
Yeah.
Like I think that that's true. But definitely as adult, like I think also like generations are changing too, and adult children are staying home much longer than they ever used to on like on mass, like a bigger amount of people, cuz like I moved out of my parents' house just after I turned 19. So just after I was done high school and everything, like, cuz I turned 19, or I turned 18 when I was still in high school, or almost 19. Yeah, I turned 19 when I was still in high school. Um and so I, most of my friends and everything, and most of my peers, at least the first time they moved out on their own, was relatively soon after they were around 18 to 20 years old. And generally right now, a lot of adult children are in their 20s and still finding themselves living at home, whether it's because of financial reasons, or just because
Whether it's
they like
because
it.
the mother puts cheese on the
Yeah,
vegetables.
yeah, like the commercial, yeah. So, but it generally is, there's a lot more people who are, so that navigating what your life looks like, what your house, like the change of child to teenager to adult while they're
Yeah.
still living in your home. I remember somebody said that to me when my kids, like when my oldest turned 18, was they were like, having adult children in your home, like having children become adults in your home, is another navigation, is another something that because now it's like they're adults, so they're like, I don't have any rules, but then it's like, well, it's still my house. So like, like we still need respect, and we still need these kind of things. So it's interesting how that happens. And also, even I always think of those times where people say, well, you have them for 18 years, but you really don't. But also, like, you can have them longer, but like you really, like, kids, once they start to have peers and friends who are like a very big influence, you feel that pull away from
Yeah.
you. And so it is like, even in my head, it's even thinking about those times of like the last time you put your kid down, you know, is the, like, from carrying them around, when they're babies, and then up until they're, 2 years old, whatever the case may be, you carry them everywhere. The last time that you put them down, you don't know that that was the last time you were going to put them down. It's not until, like, a month later, and you're like, wow, I haven't picked up my kid. Like, and then you kind of realize. So it's all those little milestones that kind of happen as they're growing up, which you're very proud of. And, and even when, like you said, when Topher went off to school last year, 23 years old, which, like, I should be like that. 23, that's much older. And I was, of course, very proud of, and still am very proud of him being able to go and do this and doing the school, and being able to, like, go 1,500 kilometers away completely by himself without anybody else, and like live out there for 10 months by himself, and he's going to go back again in September. It is, that takes bravery, that takes courage, that takes strength, that takes all of those things, and I'm very proud of that stuff. Didn't make me miss him any less. So that's the whole stuff about that. And even the transition and creating a new life or a new relationship where I didn't see him all the time. So what could I do that made me feel connected to him, but also that he was on board with, so things that he would be able to do and that he could, like, live with. And so creating, like, being cooperative in relationship. And I think that that's probably what happens as our children become adults, is like, it's no longer I'm going to dictate how our relationship is, and now it's, how are we going to do this together. I think that's the big
Right.
thing.
And yeah, and that's so important, is allowing them to become the people that they are.
Hmm.
And all children need to be able to do that and need to find their way in that. And all of us moms need to find our way in that too. And it doesn't come naturally to either one of us. You're working on it continually. And I think you're working on it continually until you say goodbye to this life.
Right.
I don't think that there's going to be a time that I could say I actually finally got it.
Yeah.
No, because I'm continually evolving, because as humans we're continually evolving all the way through.
Well, and I
and
think even the
relationships change.
like so you're a grandma now, so you even now have a different relationship with your daughter, because it's like, and even, even with your son, he got married. So like there's, and your daughter's married too. And so the fact is that through their changes and stages of their life, you also take on a different role, or you could, you have a different
Hmm.
relationship even when they start, when they start dating, when they get married, when they have the new jobs, when they start the career, when they have the families. It's like they're also like, there's different dynamics with that too, is like how what you're needed for, or what time you both have, or all of those kind of things
Yeah.
factor into that
And
too.
then it changes as well the older that we get,
Mm,
and they transition into taking care of their parent.
right.
It all transitions as people age,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have people in my life that I know who are taking care of their aging parents.
Right.
And it's where the child becomes the parent, which is what I had to do with my own mother
Right.
before she passed away. The child becomes the parent and has that responsibility. It
Right.
doesn't mean that she wasn't my mother. She was still my mother,
Yeah.
but I was doing the mothering of her then.
Right.
And that whole cycle changes all the way through. So it's an ever evolving, changing thing
Yes.
once you become a mother. So, to all of you mothers out there, we hope that you celebrated yesterday for the good Mother's Day that we're talking about. And whatever your place is, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dog mom or a cat mom or a
Yep.
bird mom, whether you're a surrogate to other children, whether you're a birth mom and an adoptive mom, to
A
name just a
stepmom.
few. There are so many roles
Mhm.
that you could be filling, and be proud of yourself for whatever role you've taken on and you will take on,
Yes.
because it's ever evolving. And
Mhm.
as Bunny said, you can find this book still on Amazon.
Yes.
And it was our Mother's Day gift to the world.
Mhm.
And so it's still out there, and we still cherish this because it was our baby.
Yeah, it was our first
It was our
baby.
out above and beyond baby.
Yes, and it was our forte, like our first frontier into doing this, and it was so well received and continues to be received. And all of our other books, we have all the other ones as well, which you can find on our website, at aboveandbeyond.com, and just go to our books. We also have our solo author books listed on there as well, which, well, they're sort of like, I don't know, like our
Our
stepchildren or something,
grandbabies.
like our grandbabies, our grandbabies, maybe. Yeah, like grandbabies. We can go with that. Okay. But yeah, so you could do that. You could also find ways to become a or not member, what is it called, guest on on our podcast through our website as well, or email us at aboveandbeyond@gmail.com. Yeah, so happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye.